Okay guys, welcome back to Kumasao Reviews. My last video was an unboxing for this guy. It's the Movable Metal Art, Movable and Metal Art, Slaughter Laird. It's their take on IDW Optimus Prime. It's a non-transforming piece. Diecast as well, so akin to the Flame Toys products and things like that. So yeah, I'd like that stuff, or you don't talk about it in the comment section. Don't really care what you buy. Alright, so there he is, next to the Flame Toys Optimus Prime. Figured they were kind of the same ilk, so apt comparison. His height is around, I'm just under 9 inches, so like 8 1/4. So he's not too far off from Optimus. Let me get him out of that pose, straighten him up some. And okay, that's better. Alright, not exactly the best, but it'll do for this second. Alright, so Optimus is a little bit more in front, but obviously bigger, right? So looking at this, alright, so we've got about 8 1/4 to almost 9 inches, 8 3/4. So there we go, 8 3/4 inches tall. This one doesn't have any LEDs or anything like that on the figure itself. It comes with a large motorcycle, which you see in the back left, covered up by the logos and stuff like that a little bit, but we'll look over that as well. Alright, now we looked over this in the unboxing video, but going back over it, that's a piece to the stand. It comes with 2 small rifles, a variety of hands. One of mine came missing a thumb. Fun. Whatever this thing is, it's a super deformed gold statue. It's like they just threw in whatever they could think of to drive up the price on this thing. 2 larger rifles. Love these. Love the smaller rifles too. The weapons are pretty cool, but then you get these weapons. What the fuck? What the fuck is this? So, yeah. Swords, the ideal of the swords and things like that are cool. They're huge, they're thick, I dig that. But the gradient here, man, that is, wow. I don't know if that was mocked up in Microsoft Paint, like the 95 version, and they just painted it exactly as such, but they didn't even try. Like, you could tell that this was airbrushed or whatever, but I have an airbrush. I could do better than that. Like, if I wanted to, if I was absolutely sure I was keeping this figure because the quality control is so bad, I wanted to say QC or whatever, I would paint these in a second and just show them how it's done. But we'll see. And of course, there's the bike. Big old bike. That ain't fitting in a DTOF. Big old bike. I like it. Now, before we get into this, I'm just going to go ahead and show my hand when it comes to bias and stuff like that. The quality control on this thing is so bad that I think this company should die. I'm not saying people should lose their jobs and stuff like that, but if they do decide to keep making products, it should be under a different brand. They need to let this go. They screwed the pooch on this release. It is bad, it's horrible, quality control, paint, the joints, the parts breaking and things like that, even the way it's packaged and stuff you guys saw from the packaging video, it's all bad. It's an aesthetically nice piece, but put together like crap. So with that being said, if you choose to watch this, here we go. Alright, again, 8 3/4 inches tall. I'm not counting the antenna, mostly because I can't see it from here and get an accurate, you know, like that kind of deal. So I would say add another 1/2 inch. So it's probably 9 1/4 inches with the antenna. Alright, so giving you guys a roundabout. The paint color itself that they chose is gorgeous. Like it much better than the Flame Toys. It's that nice candy red, but you can see even like out of the box there are scratches and scuffs and stuff like that on it, and cracking and whatnot. And it does happen with the candy paints. I've noticed with Sendo products even. I'm not saying it's unavoidable, but most companies don't seem to be able to avoid it. So that's why you don't see many pieces painted in this style, even though it's absolutely gorgeous. So one thing I would like to note about this character and the paint is that the eyes, they look dark, but they're actually painted a light blue. For whatever reason, though, they're just sunken so far back that there's a shadow cast over them, and they look dark or dead. So just one of those little design things. Now, just for the sake of not forgetting and being zoomed in, does have a matrix that can come out. I'm not going to take it out. No point. The hands that actually can hold them and hold the doors and stuff like that, those are the ones, one of them came without a thumb. So, yeah, gotta love it. All right, so there's that. And it's a good looking figure, you know? And we'll go over the quality control stuff as I go through it. So, looking at the head here, the head on mine, in fact, let's bring that back up. The head on mine came off the figure. You can see that there's a split right there, that seam. That's supposed to be there. But the back half of the neck separates from the front half, and somehow that happened and it came out of the box. Easy fix. This pegs top to bottom, and then the other half of the neck slides back. So I'm just saying that in case yours comes like that. This figure has nothing holding it down in the styrofoam. Look at the unboxing video. Just horrid. But head has some movement. Can go to about 90 degrees free of the neck, but once it gets there, I don't know if it's because something actually stops on the inside. You can't see it, but the neck itself starts to turn. So yeah, just take note of that. All right. Neck's pretty easy to get back into place, which is nice. I wish the Flame Toys had that when it turns, because once the neck turns on that thing, you almost have to pop the head off to move it back and stuff like that. So that's a good thing. Shoulders, okay. So going around here, this piece moves up and down as well. The filler piece there. And that's a really nice tight joint there. It does have up and down and butterfly in here, and this piece as well can butterfly there. So it's not that they don't have the idea right, it's just the execution of it all. And then this piece here is on a hinge. Now, one thing I will say about these joints, especially in the painted areas and stuff like that, off the bat, they can be pretty hard to move and swivel and stuff. So really take your time. I think it's seized up paint that keeps it from doing it, but once you get it going, they're not too bad. Did a quick cut there because my camera can only record high quality video for so long. But all right, so zooming in here, let me see if I can. You're gonna see some paint scrapes right around the brim of the bicep swivel. Why does that happen? Because this bicep can only swivel when it's down, like angled straight down like that, right? So here, free swivel, 360. Gotta watch that door. It doesn't really rub or do anything, but just watch it. But once you get it angled out, because these shoulder pieces don't move, you can't swivel it. Well, you can, but then it starts to rub. And unfortunately, this paint is really thick, not finished very well, and you can see I did it even more just softly doing that to show you guys how it rubs. I'm at the point of whether or not, like I said, I don't know if I want to return this or not. It's pretty much a foregone conclusion that I probably will. So I've already reported my problems to the company and stuff like that I bought it from, TF Source. But yeah, so you want to turn it first and then go out, turn it, go out, see what I'm saying? Because once it's in there, because of the angles of the shoulder pad, you're stuck. And it sucks because that means you can only have, you can't have it angled any other way besides this, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. So you can't have something where it's out and slightly angled in without rubbing. Absolutely sucks. Or you gotta deal with the battle damage. That's what I'm gonna call it, because it does kind of look like that Hot Toys battle damage that comes on them. Alright, so zooming out a little bit more. Double jointed elbows. Okay. No movement in the forearms or anything like that. The wrists do have rocking back and forth, up and down, and it's a nice tight Rot too. 360 at the hands. And I'm going to give credit where it's due. The way that these hands pop on and pop off, they've got these... Let's see if I can focus here. They've got pegs, but they have this like notch on them that actually clicks them into place. And they lock really good too. I would love for that to become a thing. Alright, now taking a look at the waist. The waist is so damn iffy on this thing that it's not even funny. So it does, I think, technically have a 360 swivel, but where the grill meets like some of that part of the hip area, you don't want to go like 45 and call it a day. Let's be realistic about it. All right, so there's that. This piece snapped off last night. Okay. And I wasn't doing anything. I picked it up, I was moving the waist. This popped off. It pegs in very tightly to like a back plate back there. It broke at the peg. So, yeah. And that's just, like I said, for moving the waist. And that had to be pinned, re-glued, just for the sake of this review. Pretty bleeping annoying. Get some more light on there. Now, it does have pretty good ab crunch, but paint rub. That's going to be a common thing with this guy. Alright, so the nice part about this is these pieces are pretty pliable, that back plate back there, so you can kind of bend them before you bend at the ab. You shouldn't have to do all that though. And then even with that, you still get paint rub and stuff like that. So I guess it's what it is. Now he does have some side to side ab rock, as well as some additional movement because that's on the ball joint as well, the waist itself. Now the back, this piece came broken off in the box, had to re-glue it twice. But this can swivel in and out. Alright. Okay. And then the wings themselves, and you can hear that, like that's that, like, just squeaky, seized up paint. Now this piece, this back piece does have some movement as well. It's okay. Nothing too crazy. Now zooming out, I'm looking at the hips. These skirts do move. So up, up. This one's really tight. This one's kind of floppy. Doesn't really matter though. Boom, boom, then boom, boom. Get this arm out. Get it out of the way. So let's start with the outward swing. Easy enough. No ratchets or anything like that in there. And they hold pretty well. Okay. And then, all right, so it started to move right there. And it's, yeah, unless you've worked with drop hips, it's hard to describe how to really utilize them. But basically, you hold it so the drop piece or whatever stays up, and then move it out. So that's with the hip all the way up, right? And then there's another hinge in there that comes down. Move that out so I can move it down. All right? So that you can get even more hip swing, like so. That's how that works. But again, once you get used to using it, it's cool. Now the drop piece or whatever, that hinge, it's a bit loose for my taste, but it's not bad. I'm not gonna, like I said, give credit where it's due. Thigh swivel. The knees. Double jointed. Double feet. Not a lot of back and forth. And what's really crazy at that is the second time that's happened. I think this piece is supposed to be glued, but it sits on firm enough to where normal play and stuff like that. I was actively trying to pull and see even there, it stays on. So again, don't want to... Gotta give credit where due. That was my bad. Alright, but it doesn't drop. Like, a lot of toys will have something to where this can drop down and have further movement, but this doesn't. And then the ankle tilt, really... non-existent, so... Alright. Do something quick, show you guys some poses, and then move on to the bike. Oh, well, we'll go over the weapons and stuff like that too. So let's give him large gun. All right, just slides in the hand simply. And it should be noted that this has an MSRP of about $350. So that does attribute to my disappointment as well. Because if this piece was $150, obviously the expectations are not the same. All right. This whole thing and something simple. Alright, I want to do it from below. And I dig it. Okay. And just him walking. Holding the rifle. Pretty good stuff. Alright, and taking a look at his big swords. I mean, one thing I'm noticing, that like the paint just pisses me off. That's so bad. No company should have ever passed that. But they are heavy. I didn't realize how heavy they were. They're not die cast or anything like that, but they do make his wrists start to swivel a bit loosely. Once you get it, it holds, but I mean, it does tend to do a little bit of that action. They just look bad. The design of them's cool, but yeah. Alright. And this is his quote-unquote axe. I'm not even gonna have him hold this thing. That's ridiculous. But it does combine with these two swords to make something pretty neat. That's a nice big sword. Now, I doubt he can hold this with one hand. The arms hold it plenty fine, but it's just the wrists that are kind of... Get that back through. Yeah, the swivel is real, but... Actually, let's look at that from a higher angle there. Okay, and so not awful. Not awful. The paint job, atrocious, but I like the idea of the combining weapons and stuff like that. That's really neat to me. Now, these effect pieces, they do go in. I'm pretty used to flames that are yellow at the tip, but hey, I guess that's just me being negative. Whatever. That was an idea that got passed on to people, and they were like, let's paint it just like that. Okay, so now we'll take a look at the bike. It's the same on both sides, so I'm not going to do all that. Bike is huge. I have to move the camera out of the way. So, getting you guys a measurement here. Round about 21 inches, okay? So, one thing about this, the handlebars become knives. I'm not gonna go out of my way to really pose him holding knives. They're knives. So, 21 inches long. Big bike. It has a piece that's hidden somewhere down here as well. Actually, it's over here. Taps into there so that you could plug this into the butt for like flying. poses on the bike and things like that. I'm not doing all that, not getting too crazy. I'm just having them set on the bike. Alright, now this does have LEDs, again, 2 AAA batteries. They go in right here, this piece slides out, one down, one up. Okay, so that switch there, you see LEDs in the front, side of the tires, and the back, or side of the fenders. So overall, pretty cool stuff. Now one thing I do like about it is that it's also a holster for weapons. Now, about this bike, this is a die-cast figure, but the bike, it's just big hollow plastic, really light, nothing crazy. And I swear these, in part, feel like die-cast. I wouldn't doubt if they were light die-cast at this point, these weapons. Alright, so 1, 2. They just kind of clip together. And then this slides in. Right. It stores his guns as well. And since these pieces come out, let's see if I'm doing it the wrong way or something. I just had this. There we go. One. The tabs are pretty exact, so you got to find the right angle. And then this goes in here. And then this goes in here. Okay. Now I do wish that these balanced a little bit better, but they're definitely not bad. This is a pretty souped up bike. Imagine if these were in a bright, ugly yellow on the bottom. Yeah, the other one's really tight. I don't know what exactly is going on with this one, but again, this company and quality control, they're allergic to it. So I'm gonna get him in a seated-ish pose first. This one's pretty tough for him to sit on. He doesn't sit on it as naturally as he should, in my opinion. Now these flip out. These can like angle around and stuff like that too. It's pretty cool. On the feet first. Boom. One arm. And I highly encourage you guys, because this is in the IDW comics, this bike. Make sure that's snapped in. Okay, boom. I honestly got him seated better. He's set flush and stuff like that, better than when I was playing around with it just on my own time, checking it out. So I appreciate that. Man, oh man, this gun. If only it would balance correctly, but there we go. There we go. Alright, Prime, I see you. And get that from a lower angle. So you can see just the magnitude of how big this bike is. It does make for a neat display. No matter how you cut it, QC issues be damned, it makes for a good display. Now, of course, you could put these effect pieces inside of there. And what's crazy is that these don't even feel like plastic. They feel like hollow wood. Okay, so there's that. And then with this. So this, you take that part off. And then 1, 2. Big stand. There's a little stand. Sure those are flush. And from there, oh, you gotta extend them out. My bad. Get that back over. And yeah. Again, it's one of those things to where it's like a huge what if in terms of quality issues and stuff like that. Because unfortunately, like as neat as this is, it doesn't make up for the fact that it is nowhere near worth what it cost. Alright, so final thoughts on this piece. It's not good. I don't encourage anyone to buy this piece. The quality is absolutely atrocious. Nowhere near worth the asking price. If you are going to get it, wait until the eventual sale on this. And it's not just me. Look up the TFW 2005 message boards about it. I'm sure people will chime in the comments here that have bought it. The quality is universally bad. Like, I'm not the only person that came with broken parts out of the box. People have just lightly messed with it and pieces have broke off too and things like that. It's bad. The paint's bad. The engineering's bad. Like, look at how the biceps have to swivel one way only when the arm's down. Like, that kind of thing. It's just not good. It's not well thought out. It's not well executed. There are just no upsides about it besides prime on a big bike. And even with that, you know, you talk about the cost and things like that. One thing I noticed is that when I was unboxing this, the instructions on the back, if you look here, so this is for the bike, right? See where it says like sold separately, sold separately. Alright, sold separately, like those kinds of things. Those are all parts from the Optimus figure and its accessories. So the bike and the Optimus were actually supposed to be separately sold pieces. So there was, at some point, a plan to have this be cost effective. If you just want the Prime, don't want the bike, go ahead. If you want both, go ahead. But it's being sold together as one piece. And between a big hollow bike with LEDs that, I'll be damned, I don't know where the hell I'm going to display this if I keep it, and then just stupid junk like this, it feels like it's more of a cash grab than an actual labor of love. And I'm not saying everything should be that. And everything doesn't have to be that high level, like just down to the nitty-gritty detail that most people aren't even going to notice, like that kind of stuff. That's overly anal and appeals to a very niche fan. I'm a part of that niche, but I understand that it's very small compared to the consuming mass, you know? But this, on the other hand, they blatantly didn't care and just put out something for the sake of putting out something. It's like, here's your IDW Optimus. Who gives a damn if it falls apart in your hands? Love it. You know, like that kind of thing. It's borderline disrespectful. I can't speak for everybody. I don't want to speak for everybody. I'm not that kind of guy. I don't want to be the cool collector or anybody that anybody follows. You know, watch 50 more reviews of this guy and get some other opinions. Read message boards and things like that where people are even more, I guess, vocal and well thought out, well typed, you know, well spoken. That would be the proper term. Do your research as a consumer. I just say watch reviews, get your own opinion, this and that, but I can say that this piece is objectively bad. And for the sake of encouraging companies to put out shoddy products like this, don't do it. You know, put your money where your mouth is and actually be smarter than me. I'll be that guinea pig, you know, like, I don't really care. Even with me, I'll probably return this, to be honest with you. It's frustrating for me to even look at, having had this kind of experience with it. Like, I want to like it because sculpt-wise it looks great, but whenever you touch something and something else falls apart or breaks, and it's like a ticking time bomb of just quality failures, it's disheartening. And I'm not saying I'm somebody who plays with my toys all the time, things like that. Not at all. Quite the opposite, actually. But this is one that I feel like, even if I set it like this, going to move it, something else is going to break and fall apart on it. It's literally that kind of fragile. the paint rub and things like that. It's just bad. It's really just bad. And like I was saying, like with the bike, it all just feels like a cash grab. None of it's really well made. None of it's well made at all. And it's just a bunch of stuff thrown together for the sake of driving up price. Look at the paint job on the weapons and stuff like that. I mean, it's just shitty. And I hate using that kind of language even. But it really is. There's no excuse for this. So, like I said at the beginning, I don't believe in people like losing jobs or losing work. I'm sure there are a lot of talented people in this company and whatnot. But this brand, at least with me personally, it's dead. This is dead brand, dead company. They're done. This is a product that's going to end up, in my opinion, it retails for $350 right now. This time, 3 months from now, there will be just as many in stock, and they'll be slashed off to 60% off. You know, if you're going to get it then, when companies are just looking to move this crap out of their warehouses and stuff like that. But don't treat this like it's a big release or something worth your money. Spend $350 on something much better. Fuck, go to... I would rather fucking... I'm into bodybuilding now. I don't need junk food. But I would go to fucking McDonald's and eat $350 worth of nasty-ass chicken nuggets before spending another $350 on this thing. That's where I'm at. This is the worst product I've gotten in years. And it's unfortunate. I could go on and on about it, but I think I've said enough. I think I've shown enough. And you guys are going to make your own decisions in the end. If everybody buys it, as long as you're happy, good. I'm not. But anyway, this has been another Kumasawa review. Thank you guys all for your support, and I will see you next time.